everybody, Cinema Sickness here with another weekly watch where we take a look at some of the titles I've been watching throughout the week. Got a lot of great stuff here to talk about, so let's get right down to it. The first title I have here is The Monkees, Just Us. Now this is something I really wanted to see because this is the first time the Monkees have all been back together since they sort of split up. I mean, they've come back in like threes every now and then, but this is the first time all four of them came back was to do the Justus album, and I was really interested in seeing this because I thought, oh, it's gonna be great. The Monkees performing maybe some of their classics, you know, some of their new stuff, sure, but some of the classics as well. Not so much the case. There was one classic song performed, all the rest was just all their new stuff, and it was basically videos for their. I don't know if I want to say videos, but it felt like almost like music videos for their new songs, and then in between they would kind of just be talking and doing like little skits. As much as I love the Monkees, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the music. I'm a huge fan of the show. And they've kind of lost a little bit. I don't really like their new music. It's not my thing. It's just, I like the classic Monkees music, the newer stuff. Not a fan. The skits in between the music just felt really bad. It was always painful to watch. Some of them, like you could tell they were trying to be their goofy Monkees selves. They were trying to relive the classic TV series and failed. So would I recommend this? If you're a really diehard Monkees fan, see it, but otherwise there's really no reason. You're only getting one of the classic songs performed, which is great. I love hearing that song, but that's it. You're not really getting much out of this. It's only 30 minutes long, so it's not very long either. It's basically just a little collection of I think 5, maybe they're like their new songs, and that's it. So if you like their newer music, I guess check it out. But otherwise, again, it's nothing you really need to see. I wasn't blown away by this. It was just all right. It was fun to see them all together though, and talking to one another, and interacting with one another. And even though it was a little painful to watch some of those skits, it was nice to see them together again. So I'll give it that. But all in all, it's nothing you really need to see unless you're a big Monkees fan. Then I finished up Young Justice Season 2, Part 1. This show is fantastic. I am such a big fan of Young Justice. I just started to get into it. Really ashamed that this only lasted 2 seasons. I have the second half of Season 2 to go, and then that's going to be it. Definitely a shame. And I really enjoyed the first season. It was very well done, very enjoyable. Second season, though, starts off a little weird, where it's actually 5 years advanced from where Season 1 left off, which I thought was kind of weird, but also kind of cool at the same time, where it's not just a direct continuation, it's 5 years later. I think that's very interesting, because a lot of stuff went down with the Justice League. They were gone for a while. They basically under control for a little bit, and some stuff went down with that. I guess we'll find out more in this season. So very interesting. I like how Dick Grayson has now become Nightwing, and Tim Drake's taken over for Robin. That's really cool. We got all these new characters. I mean, we have Batgirl and Bumblebee, Beast Boy's here, Wonder Girl, Blue Beetle. Very, very cool. A lot of the characters from the first one are obviously back, but a whole bunch of new characters as well. First episode, though, a little cheesy because they basically... It's almost like... The first episode is almost like a roll call. Like, here's all the new characters. They just keep dropping names and dropping names and dropping names and dropping names. It's pretty funny. But regardless, it's still great. I do actually enjoy the fact that it does take place 5 years in the future from the first season. That is pretty cool. And I've been enjoying what I've seen thus far. It's great. Love all the new characters. And I cannot wait to watch the second half. So if you're a big fan of DC animated cartoons, this is one you should definitely check out. Very well done, very enjoyable, and I just love seeing all these great DC characters. Even though they might be throwing a bit too many in there, that's one thing, but I still love it. And I also like how the Justice League, Batman, Superman, Martian Manhunter, all those guys, Green Lantern, and whatnot, they all end up going away. They have to take care of some business for some stuff that went down when they were actually disappeared for a little while, were under control. They got to go take care of that. So one of the cool things about this season is they're gone. It's basically just the kids in this season. That's it. The big bad, or the big baddies. Although I say baddies, but the big good guys, big goodies. They're all away on a mission. So I think it's really cool that they're not so much around anymore. They're not really there to help anymore. It's basically all up to the kids. That's very interesting. So again, definitely one I recommend checking out. If you're into DC animation, this is one you have to see. Then I checked out Crazy on the Outside, which, I wasn't quite sure what this was going into it. I picked this up for $1 at the Dollar Tree, so yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, although I am a big fan of Tim Allen, so it was definitely something I wanted to check out. And in the end, it was just mediocre. It wasn't anything great. The last Tim Allen movie I watched, The Six Wives of Henry whatever, that was a really good movie. This one was just okay. Tim Allen gets out of the big house because he got in trouble for pirating movies, did a bit of a time, and then basically comes back to just the craziness that's going on there. The girl he's in love with is now in love with somebody else. He's actually getting married. His sister's told like a whole bunch of lies and just keeps lying about stuff to people. Ray Liotta, who's he was like basically his crime partner who didn't get in trouble. He wants him to come back and do more pirating, and it's just a whole big mess. And just basically in jail, he almost had it better because things were a lot more calmer and normal in jail, as opposed to getting out of jail and getting back in the real life. Everything's just this big crazy mess. He's trying to get things back and trying to get his life back together and whatnot, but because of all the craziness going around him, that's a little hard for him to do. But good story. It was enjoyable. Again, it's nothing amazing. It was just it was just mediocre. But in the end, if you like Tim Allen and something you're thinking about checking out, it is at least worth a watch. You can probably get this for cheap. Like I said, I got mine for $1 at Dollar Tree. So for $1, it's definitely worth it. So nothing amazing, but still a fun watch. I'd recommend checking it out. Then a movie that the wife and I really wanted to see. In fact, as I already mentioned, this is actually a movie that I stole out of my wife's collection and put in mine because I enjoyed it. And that was Blue Valentine. Definitely a movie I wanted to see because I had heard really good things from people on places like Blu-ray.com, because this is only a $5 movie at Target. And when this started showing up for $5, a lot of people were saying, oh, you gotta pick it up, it's great. So we picked it up a little while ago and I finally got around to watching it, and it was enjoyable. It's nothing amazing. I wouldn't say that, but it is an enjoyable film, all about these two people who fall in love and then fall out of love. It's a very interesting story about this relationship going from something amazing and two people so incredibly in love to two people who just they end up splitting up and things don't work out so well for them. So a very interesting story. I like how it's told. I like how it's told kind of one of those sort of stories where the story's going on, but they keep flashing back to things that happened in the past. That's pretty cool. Very well done. So there's not much more to say about it than that. It is just what it is. I don't think my wife liked this movie too much. I don't know what she was expecting, but I don't think she liked the fact that it was just that story. I guess she wanted some more of a plot as opposed to just two people falling in love and then over time things not working out so well for them. I guess she wanted more than that, but I still found it very interesting. It felt very true to life. It had some very interesting twists and turns in it. So all in all, I'd say a decent movie. Although I feel really bad for the little girl in here. She basically loses a father and a dog all within like 2 days of each other. Pretty sad for her. But all in all, decent movie. I recommend checking it out. It's certainly worth the $5 at Target. So again, the story might not be anything amazing. I guess I see why my wife didn't like it so much. But I thought it was a fun story anyway. Very interesting story. Maybe I shouldn't say fun. It's kind of depressing at the end. But still, a decent watch. I'd certainly recommend checking it out. Then another movie that I heard really good things about that unfortunately I just didn't think lived up quite to the hype, and that is The Awakening. Now this movie got really good reviews online. I read a lot of great reviews about this movie, about it was just this great kind of gothic horror movie. And it was, but, again, I wasn't blown away by it. And the reason I wasn't blown away by it is because of the twist ending, which I'm not going to give away. If you want to see this movie, watch it. There is a twist ending to the end. And that's kind of what did it in for me. I just went, oh, okay. Did I see it coming? No, not necessarily. I'll admit that. I really didn't see the twist ending coming. But once it did come, it didn't blow me away. I was just kind of like, all right, that's what happens. Okay. It was just, that's how I felt about the movie. So, starts out pretty good. A lot of great creepy atmosphere, enjoyable story. There's some great creepy things going on. But once the twist comes into play, I just wasn't blown away. So I'd say half the movie, first half of the movie, very enjoyable. The second half of the movie, just eh. So would I recommend this movie? You can pick this up for $5. I got this for $5 out of the Walmart dump-in. So is it worth the $5? I guess. Would I recommend it? Not necessarily. This is a movie you have to see. If you've been thinking about checking it out, if it's something you definitely want to see, sure, go ahead. but it isn't a horror movie that you gotta see. It's not super overly creepy, even though it has decent atmosphere. It's just not really all that great of a horror movie. It's very, very mediocre. And like I said, the twist, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't really care for the twist so much. Had they left the twist out, probably would have been a much more enjoyable story. So all in all, just very mediocre. Nothing you need to see. Then another mediocre movie, which was Man of Steel. Now, I had heard bad things about this one. I thought to myself, I remember when this movie came out, I thought, well, I really got to see this. It looks awesome. And then just bad review after bad review after bad review. And I was like, really? People didn't like this movie? Like, what was so wrong about Man of Steel? How could this movie be as bad as everybody says it is? And yeah, it wasn't really good. It's the best way to describe this movie is just a movie. It's one of those movies that after you watch, you just kind of go, like you don't think, wow, it was great, I gotta see it again. You don't necessarily think it was horrible either. You just kind of go, okay, I saw it. That's how I felt. I mean, did it keep me entertained? Sure. I wasn't bored by it, even though it was a rather long movie, but I wasn't bored by it. I think this movie's like close to 3 hours long. Yeah, 143 minutes long. So somewhat of a long movie, which I understand why, because that's one of the bad things about this movie. It's such this big, epic story thrown into almost 3 hours. You need more than that. I mean, if they can take The Hobbit and split into 3 movies, why didn't they just split this up into 3 movies? They really should have just split this story up. I don't know why they don't do that. I would love to see a great, super epic Superman story where it's all split up. Maybe the beginning of his life, in Smallville and what he goes through there, into working the Daily Planet and getting involved, in being Superman, and then actually, becoming Superman, and maybe like some great battle and stuff like that. Like, I would love to see a movie like that, maybe like a trilogy kind of movie. That would be really cool. But no, they basically stick a trilogy's worth of movie into a 3-hour movie, which just feels really rushed. It's not very well told, and I do appreciate the fact that they're trying to retell the story of Superman, which I thought was cool. They're rebooting the story. And it's close to the story that's we've heard a million times before, but there's a lot of differences as well. That was cool. I didn't have anything wrong with that. I respected the fact they were trying something different. That was neat, but just not told very well. That was my main problem with this. Is I couldn't get into how the story was being told. It just felt really rushed and fast and just throwing things out, and then this happened and that happened and this happened and then we went here. I'm like, well, just calm down a little bit. Let's get more into this story. Let's get more involved in these characters and just you throwing them in my face and throwing everything they're doing in my face for like 3 seconds and then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and just stop, calm down. We need more story here. So yeah, I see why people don't like this movie. It wasn't all that good. In fact, I haven't seen Superman Returns in a while. I need to rewatch that movie. But if I remember correctly, I like Superman Returns more than this movie, and that was just an okay movie. Although I did enjoy Superman Returns. A lot of people hate that movie. I thought it was alright. I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it more than this movie, so I know a lot of people hate Superman Returns, so I guess that might say something. So all in all, what I recommended, if you're a big Superman fan, sure, check it out. Again, if it's something you've been thinking about seeing, sure, check it out. Like I said, I wasn't bored with the movie. It kept me entertained the entire time. I will give it that. I just thought it was kind of a piss poor job at telling a story, so not really all that enjoyable. I can't really recommend this movie. It was just okay, very mediocre, and unless it's something you really want to see, you don't really need to. Watch the first 2 original Superman movies. They're great. The Christopher Reeve ones. I love those movies. They're really good. Check those out. They're fantastic. And then the last movie here I had to talk about is Parkland, which is definitely one I want to check out because Paul Giamatti. You guys know I love my Paul Giamatti. He's by far. I was actually thinking about this like the other week. My wife and I were talking, and I was talking about, I forget why we were talking about Paul Giamatti, but we were, and I went, you know what? He is definitely my all-time #1 favorite actor. It's just, people ask me who my favorite actor is, and I always say, well, I don't know. I like this guy and this guy and this guy. It's one of those maybe. No, I'm gonna say hands down, Paul Giamatti, favorite. I'm just a big Paul Giamatti fan. I will buy anything he's in. I love the man. He's great. So this movie, it was enjoyable, though. I gotta say, it didn't really offer anything special. It's about the, he says, on November 22nd, 1963, JFK was assassinated. This is a story of what happened next. And that's basically what this is. It's the story about what happens when he was assassinated and then the next few days after. and that's it. What more is there to say about that? I was expecting maybe they were going to throw in some like conspiracy theory things or something like that, or something new. I don't know. If you're like me and you've seen a lot of documentaries on JFK and his assassination, you're not really getting anything new out of this. But again, this is me going into it, looking at it in the eyes of somebody who's seen a lot of JFK documentaries. So when I watched this one, I didn't get anything new out of it. I was like, okay, this is all information I already know. I've seen 100 documentaries on the assassination of JFK. I know all this information already. But for somebody who doesn't know all that information, this movie I could see be a lot more enjoyable and being a lot more interesting. So did I like it? Yes. Would I recommend it? Definitely. Very interesting story. I really enjoy the idea of making a story about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, what happened there, and then the story afterwards, the next few days afterwards, of what happened after he was assassinated. And the country was just in like this big, it was a big ball of craziness after he was assassinated, and just what happened after his assassination. Very interesting, very enjoyable. But like I said, if you've seen a lot of documentaries on the assassination of JFK like I have, you're not going to get anything new. It's not really offering you any new information. Maybe a couple things here and there. There were a few certain things that I didn't really know, but for the most part, nothing all that new. But still, very enjoyable. I would recommend checking it out if you're into, if you're into like more like documentaries. Not this was a documentary, but if you're into documentaries or just kind of biographical type films, this is one to check out. So enjoyable. I'd recommend it. It's not going to be for everybody, but if the idea of learning about what happened after the assassination of JFK sounds interesting to you, then yes, check it out. So there you go, guys. It's everything I watched over the past few days. A lot of great titles here, though. A few stinkers. I mean, again, Awakening wasn't all that great. Man of Steel really wasn't all that great as well. Just Us, the Monkees. Yeah, if you're a big Monkees fan, check it out. Even Crazy on the Outside was just mediocre. So a lot of kind of mediocre titles. But Young Justice is great. Again, I would recommend that. Blue Valentine was very enjoyable. I really like that as well. And Parkland was also really good. I definitely recommend it. So all in all, some decent titles this week, but also some stinkers as well. But what are you going to do? So anyway, guys, that's it. Like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you're not already subbed, please do. And if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head on over there, click on the shop tab, purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker or a Cinema Sickness bun. I really appreciate the support. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.